So you're here today for some tips and tricks on how you can keep track of the essential 1.5 meters needed to ensure public health and safety and to avoid a nasty infringement notice. Well, as a member of a profession with a loose to questionable relationship with numbers and mathematics, I can totally understand your concern. But don't worry, you've come to the right place. I am something of an expert in what the public health orders mean by the complex legal terminology of 1.5 meters. And the answer may surprise you because 1.5 meters doesn't actually mean 1.5 meters. Okay, so you might be a little skeptical on that point. You might say, Olivia, you're really cool, but I'm confused. I mean, 1.5 meters is an objective numerical measurement, right? And to that I say, yes, I am very cool. Thank you for noticing. I will explain a little bit further on the 1.5 meters thing, though. I think I can convince you if I give you a little bit more background on the complex, nuanced legal issues. So as an expert, I really felt it was my duty to seek out the true legal meaning behind 1.5 meters. And for that reason, I did not only the legal research, but I crunched the numbers. Well, I didn't actually crunch the numbers because I'm afraid of math, but I found someone who could, and that's Osman Faruqi of the Saturday paper. And I brought together that actual research and analysis of the statistics with my own maverick style of interpretation to put together and to synthesize a helpful, pithy guide that you can carry with you whenever you go out to know exactly what 1.5 meters means for you, trademark pending. To meet the 1.5, measure with your member. Right? So your member of parliament is actually the single most determinant factor of what distance you actually need to socially distance. So for example, if your member of parliament is Mr. Jason Falinsky of the Northern Beaches, your 1.5 meters is going to be on the smaller side of things. It's a 1.5 meters where you can congregate on the beaches at dawn to enjoy the sunrise. Whereas if your member happens to be Mr. Paul Lynch of Liverpool, your 1.5 meters is probably a larger 1.5 meters to contend with. And we know that from the previously mentioned number crunching, because 6.8% of all the infringement notices that went out during the research period were in Liverpool, compared to 0.53% of the infringement notices which occurred in the Northern Beaches. And of course, the only reasonable explanation for this is that 1.5 meters is smaller in the Northern Beaches than it is in Liverpool. So it sounds like you may still have a little bit of skepticism, and you may be saying, Olivia, your hair is great, but 1.5 meters is an objective term. It should be the same in Liverpool as it is in the Northern Beaches. And to that I say, thank you so much for noticing about my hair. I mean, it means a lot. I've really been missing the kind of social connection during this period of working from home, so thank you. But to answer your question a little bit more clearly, we could compare the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in New South Wales from Liverpool to the Northern Beaches. So for example, Liverpool had 1.6% of the confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 6.8% of the infringement notices. And then if we looked at the Northern Beaches, you've got 5.3% of all of the confirmed cases in New South Wales and 0.53% of the infringement notices. So the only reasonable explanation for that is that the distances are different. I mean, 1.5 just has a different meaning. We could look at Walgett, a country town, for example, which has a population of around 2,000 people. They've had 5 infringement notices, but 0 confirmed cases. And that just clearly reflects the fact that country distances are different from city distances. 1.5 meters is actually a legal term, a very complex meaning. Because I mean, if it just meant 1.5 meters, I mean, that would mean that it's possible that the law is being differently applied to people with different experiences who may be being made more vulnerable by really expensive fines, which don't actually answer the public health need of their area. No, it's probably the distance thing. So remember, 1.5. It's not about size. It's about your member.